What's good? This is Trey. Welcome to this presentation. And today I want to talk about how you can escape the friend zone forever. That means how you can live the rest of your life without ever having to deal with the friend zone. All right? And it's very simple. What you want to do is when you communicate to women, you want to always communicate as an alpha. What do I mean by that? Always communicate with the understanding of this is what I want out of this interaction, and I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to break frame or, drop my standards or my values to please this woman. Okay, so it's like when you're talking to her, the vibe is okay, I know what I want, I know why I'm talking to you, and I will communicate from that frame. And of course she's gonna test it or whatever, but the key is to, no matter how much she tests your frame, you always stay within your frame. Like, you refuse to break. Okay? And if she somehow is able to break your frame, then at that point you have to be willing to walk away, because if you stay in the situation, then you're gonna end up in her frame, which may lead to a friend zone. So you want to communicate as alpha, and you also want to have an abundance mentality where you're okay with losing the girl. Because if you're not okay with losing the girl, you're not going to communicate as alpha. You're not going to communicate from a strong frame and refuse to break it, right? Because if you're afraid to lose the girl, right, meaning you want her to like you, or you don't want the relationship to be scarred or whatever, you're not going to communicate and express yourself exactly how you feel, right? It's not going to be fully authentic. It's not going to be fully genuine. It's going to be tainted because you want her to like you, or you want things to go smoothly. But when you have a specific understanding of what you want out of a relationship with women, you have to put it out there, and you have to basically put it out there in a challenging way. Like, look, this is what I want, and if it's not going to be like this, then we have to end the communication line. We have to end this relationship. And so if you always communicate like this, you will never find yourself in a friend zone, because you're refusing to go into any other frame besides the frame that you're putting out. Now, what happens when you do this is you'll become polarizing. You'll become polarizing in the sense that you will polarize certain women that don't want to submit to that frame. Okay, but over time, as you strengthen your frame, as you become more calibrated, as you raise your value, more women will accept that frame. They're just gonna test it. They need to see how strong you are. They need to see how grounded you are before they can submit. You know what I mean? Because they have a certain frame that they have developed over time from whatever people they hang out with, from their past, from society, all these different things. And so when you come up and you try to put a different frame on her, of course she's going to test it, right? Because she needs to see, like, how real it is, how legit it is, right? So that's just an understanding you need to have. Like, when you start communicating as an alpha, you are going to get tested. Like, that's the whole point of the game. It's like, I'm putting my frame out there to challenge other frames, and to be challenged. So you can't, like, be an alpha and, like, be timid about shit, or unsure, or you know what I mean, wavering. Like, you got to be solid. You got to be 100% when it comes to this. You know what I mean? You got to be 100% owning who you are, owning your frame, and leading. And the key thing is abundance. You got to be willing to walk away, knowing that there's always going to be other women. Okay? And there are some women out there who will accept your frame. You just got to get out there. You got to talk to more women. You got to put yourself in more situations. You got to improve your communication so women can understand you better. But this is how you have to be if you don't want to be in a friend zone. And yes, when you're like this, you will be polarizing. You will lose some women, right? But it is what it is. It's either you want to be the type of guy who never ends up in a friend zone, or you could be the type of guy who compromises his character or compromises his frame of what he truly wants from a relationship with a woman, and then you find yourself in her frame, right? So you got to be very socially intelligent, like to notice when she's trying to shift the frame or trying to break your frame. Because if you don't notice it, you'll just find yourself in the friend zone. And you'll be like, how the fuck did I get in here? Because you weren't paying attention to the communication. You have to be very grounded and solid in what you want when you're communicating to women. Like, that's why when I approach women, I like to go direct, because I don't want there to be any confusion about what I want from the relationship, right? I would tell a woman right away, I think she's attractive. Now, the way how I'll say it in a way where it's like, okay, yes, I think you're attractive, but I'm not attached to the outcome, right? I'm just letting you know what's up. I'm just letting you know this is the frame I'm coming from. I don't want her to think, oh, what is this guy trying to do, whatever. I'm attracted to you. That's why I'm talking to you. Do you accept that or not? Okay, if the communication continues, if she's still talking to me, clearly she accepts it. If she tries to end it, she says, I have a boyfriend, or she says, I'm not interested, or whatever, she just looks disinterested, then I end the communication. There's nothing else to do there. The only thing else you could do is just try to, persuade her or some shit like that. And that, to me, once you start trying to persuade her and impress her and change her mind and all this shit, now you're making her the prize. Like, oh, I got to do all this shit to make her like me. Fuck that. Abundance mindset. Just go to the next girl. Okay? And improve your communication, improve your values so that, more women will be accepting of your frame. Right? As I get more confident, as I get more grounded, that's when the results increase. Like, when I just started going out and cold approaching women, my frame was weak. Okay, so I would experience a lot of rejection, or the girl would put me in some beta position or whatever, or maybe she would look at me and see, oh, let me see how I can use this guy because he's weak. But as you become more alpha, as I said, you're going to become more polarizing, because women can tell, oh, this is not a guy that I can use. So it's either she's going to accept your frame or she's not. She's not going to try to bullshit her way and put you in a friend zone, shit like that, because she can feel that this is not a dude that you can fuck with like that. And that's when the more you get grounded in your masculinity, the more you start to value yourself more, the more you start to put yourself on a pedestal, not women on a pedestal. You put yourself on a pedestal. The more you start seeing yourself as a king, you will naturally build your frame will naturally get stronger, and you'll naturally become more grounded, and you'll naturally communicate as alpha and less as beta. Okay, when I say alpha, it simply just means you communicate more as I know what I want, and I'm going for that. Right? Like, that's where I'm communicating from. Like, if you want a girlfriend, I'm communicating from the place of I want a girlfriend. Or you want a rotation, I'm communicating from the place of I want a rotation. Or you just working on your confidence, I'm communicating. Like, know exactly why you're communicating and just stay grounded in that frame. That's alpha. That's what it means to be alpha, right? If you break, you become beta. The second that you break frame, you become beta. Because if your frame breaks, that means the other person's frame is now intact, right? Is now where the communication is being played. And so in that second, when that happens, you become beta. Now, not to say that you can't go back to alpha, but it's like I don't want to keep going like this and that and this and that. I just want to stay alpha. That's it. Okay? It's harder to be this way. But this is how you make sure you never have to deal with a friend zone ever again. You just be a masculine man who can handle any response that a woman gives him. Right? If she accepts my communication, great. If she doesn't, great. Okay? That's how you want to be. Because now you're not trying to avoid a certain response, or you're not attached to the outcome. You just express yourself and let the woman decide how she wants to respond. And you're not resisting her response, right? Because you have abundance mindset. Okay, if she doesn't accept it, the next girl will. If the next girl doesn't accept it, the next girl will, right? That's the mindset. Okay? So that's the advice for today. That is how you stay out of the friend zone for the rest of your life. Okay? If you're a man watching this, join the Masculine Throne. It's a group for men who are interested in increasing their wealth, cultivating more power and influence in their life, and attracting quality women. All right? I'll drop a link to the group in the comment section, and I'll see you inside. Peace.